So the last video actually went really well, so I guess I'll be continuing this series. Um, it's obviously been a couple weeks, but Wiess. If you haven't watched the last one, I'll probably tag it in the description, or it'll be in a playlist. It'll be somewhere. Um, if you don't know the series, essentially, I'm just rewriting slash not re kind of just redesigning some of the characters in their characterizations and what they would do in the story and how the story affects them. I'm rewrite them so that they um, just kind of like address some of their issues that they have had throughout the years, throughout the volumes, and make them more better, in my opinion. Um, Obviously, it's my opinion. If you agree, yeah, you can give a like. You could go in the comments, say you agree with this or you disagree with this. I'm fine with it. Um, it's right talking about it and criticizing it, and all that is going to be how you get better with the writing. And this is just my opinion on Wiess. Wiess is definitely the most popular character in the show right now, or at least she was during the Atlas arc, which makes sense. It was her. It was kind of her arc. Her family was super important to it. Um, but she's definitely the most well written and best character in the show right now. Uh, Yang's character got neutered. Ruby's your main character. She doesn't count. And Blake is just fucking Blake. Um, so it makes sense to look at what is good about her and then fix certain things that are around her. Um, Wiess was since Wiess is actually a really well like a Wiess to me is a character that the Rooster Teeth and the people who are running the show were really understood how they wanted to how who she is and how she should develop, and they did a good job. They actually did a good job on doing that. So from that perspective, I believe she should probably be used to, if you understand the character well, she should be pushed into more storylines so she can help more characters that you don't exactly understand too well. Um, but Weiss's character development is really good in the show. That's the one thing they've really got right in the show. From episode 1 to the Atlas arc, she is continuously growing. She's going from the Ice Queen to a genuine friend to each and every member of the team. Um, Her father was a decent antagonist, and her family is somewhat interesting in like a genuine way. Like we genuinely want to know more about them. Uh, at least we did. Obviously, we know a lot more now. Her combat style is actually the one. It's I believe it's the only one that's actually really improved and changed over the course of the show, as her semblance has grown and she's gotten more mastery of it. And obviously, her abilities are badass. Um, so really what we want to do with Weiss's character is do some touch-ups, like with her exact character, is to do some touch-ups and push her into situations that she's going to do well in. If you watch the RWBY video, you'll kind of understand what I mean there. Um, During Beacon era, at least in in my little universe, she would be Ruby's trusty second command. She's the partner of Ruby. She's clearly the smartest on the team. She understands Dust very well, um, and she just makes sense for being the second command. And from there, she would be the one who is pushing the team outside of fights to get better. Uh, Outside of fighting, she's the one who's telling people, "Hey, go study, go, hey Yang, stop, go talk to a cute boy, go do things. Don't just practice, don't just spar." Um, there's a dust storage in Vale. She could be the one getting the ammo. Um, she could be the ammo guy. She could be managing everyone's she could be managing everyone's schedules. Hey Blake, it's your time to go brood. Um, make her seem like a. This is something that works really well in a lot of things, and that's just to make her a workhorse. That even though she's a raging bitch and you hate her, you respect her ability. She's there every single day, making sure everything works perfectly. She may be a bitch while she does it, but she does it. Um, and that's obviously something you can't say for other characters. They don't put in that effort. Then Wiess does, and Wiess does the effort, and that I think that would be really good for her character. Um, though definitely a big problem with her character from kind of season 1 to season 10, it's been it's one when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, which is why is she at Beacon? She's there to she this is what the show has said. She went to Beacon to become a better leader for the Schnee Dust Company. And on when just thinking about it, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Until you think more about it, and then it's like she went to a school about being a huntress to learn business. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Um, the show doesn't do anything with it. Obviously, once Wiess explains herself that, oh, this is why I'm here, it doesn't go it doesn't go into any detail. It doesn't show Wiess is doing any business courses or anything like that. And I think that's something that needs to be explained. Have Wiess mention how her grandfather went to Beacon or was a hunter. That gives her grandfather is what started the company, is clearly her idol when it comes down to the company. It makes sense for her to be like, this is her priority. It makes sense that this is why she wants to be here. Have her mention, and you could also have her mention that Beacon has a very large business course. Just hey, that would be a good one. Oh, Beacon obviously is a school for huntresses, but it does offer other courses. That makes sense. Obviously in America, which is where the show comes from, that's how it works. Um, and I think another thing they could do is have her take more advanced classes. It would actually be very interesting to have RWBY, Blake, and Yang only share certain classes with Wiess, and Wiess is actually in like 10 other classes that they don't have. They're like, wait, you have that many classes? And she's like, yeah, you idiots. Um, I think it would be a very good one for her. It highlights how smart she is. Um, and it also provides us opportunities to it provides us opportunities where Wiess isn't around for our next little change. And this is definitely one that I think some people are going to have a problem with, but Blake and Wiess should be not enemies. I'm not into like the enemy thing, and I don't think they should be best friends, but they definitely should be kind of opposed. Obviously, in I believe Volume 2, they are Wiess is kind of inadvertently racist to Blake, and Blake obviously does not like that, and obviously Wiess hates the White Fang, and Blake used to be a member of the team, so obviously Wiess should be upset about that, like more upset than just how she was in Volume 2. Um, because when you kind of think about it, Blake grew up, Blake grew up knowing how shit that company is, the Schnee Dust Company, and obviously later in her Blake storyline for me, I do plan for her to do stuff with SCD. And Wiess grew up fearing the White Fang. Obviously, uh, when your dad is the guy who pisses them off basically all the time, why wouldn't you be afraid of an assassin being able to slit your throat, especially when a person who you know is a very good fighter is in your room and could slit your throat at any time during the night. It makes sense for Weiss to actually be afraid, or at least be against Blake, and for Blake to be against Weiss. It just kind of makes sense. Um, and I think you could have some very powerful scenes with after Blake revealed that she is a faunus and she used to work for the White Fang, that Weiss would probably freak out and not even want to be in the same room as her, not want to sleep with her. I'm not like, well, it's RWBY. The poor and his more. Yeah, never mind. Don't continue that sentence. Uh, um, I wouldn't say that they should be arguing always or trying to tear each other's throat out. It's not their characters to be like it's not in their characters to be that opposed to one another, but definitely Weiss being cautious of Blake and having very powerful scenes would be a very good one. And obviously, and that's actually changed for the first few volumes. I think that was gave Weiss some challenge to Blake. Um, by the fall of Beacon, though, by season four, if you don't understand why I say season four, go watch RWBY's video. But by the fall, it should be settled, and the two really would have done so much together that if Blake was going to kill Weiss, she would have, and obviously that's Weiss's main concern is dying. Um, Post fall, another controversial decision, at least way more than Blake versus Weiss, is going to be cutting all of Weiss's scenes in the canon season four. Um, she's just not in the fourth season here. At least in my mind, she shouldn't be in season four as, or at least not season four, but she shouldn't be around for the trip from Vale to Mistral. She should already be in Mistral, as she'll be essentially what happens in the books with basically all the Vale students, all the Beacon students. They went to Vacuo. Instead, we're just going to move them to Mistral. It kind of doesn't make sense to have those characters go to a place that they're never going to be at again. Like, why get rid of Sun? Come on, Kurubi. Um, just move Weiss into season five, and you can have her be a big thing there. But Blake's stuff, that's the reason why I'm actually cutting Weiss, is so Blake can take that screen time. Weiss doesn't need the screen time, and Yang is obviously going to be Yang is going to get moved into RWBY stuff, so it just makes to split the attention between two characters instead of four. That would really help season four again if they didn't split. Um, but there's also the stuff in canon for Weiss during that time just did not help her character. It didn't do anything for her. Um, Honestly, it just added a lot of drama to the stuff with Yang. It kind of fucked with the Yang story. It did it set up Atlas, but I wouldn't say that the setup was that important. Like obviously, just kind of set up Jekvis, and that's Weiss not being there is just going to help everyone more than her getting screen time, and it doesn't help her character that much. Um, in exchange for her obviously missing a season, she will be the most vital character in the Atlas arc, and obviously the Atlas arc is kind of her arc anyway. It's it's the arc where she grew up here. This is her place. This is where her storyline gets its solutions. Um, it won't be, obviously it shouldn't be all about her, but she should be a major player in it. She should be, fighting her dad. She should be fighting the one fuck, the suave, amazing character that died, and I'm still pissed. Um, as throughout Mistral, she will, in Mistral, uh, she can kind of act as a general guide through Mistral, but in Atlas, in Mistral, she's not that important. It's not hers. It's obviously Blake's to work with. Um, but in Atlas, she should be under threat from Salem's forces trying to kidnap her. Her dad trying to kidnap her. Have Ironwood be trying to not recruit her, but like trying to mentor her, trying to teach her things like he did her sister. As Ironwood has a lot of respect for his sister, and her sister has a lot of respect for Ironwood. Ironwood would kind of see Weiss as kind of a obligation for him to help. I think that would be a really good play on both characters. Plus, I could totally see Weiss taking time to learn from Ironwood, trying to become a better leader from him, a fucking general. Um, while Penny is also playing a major role with RWBY part of the story in that in Atlas, and Adam is a major one for Blake. In Atlas, we kind of just have Penny. She's obviously RWBY's best friend. Came back from the vet. Boom. You have a lot of story there. Why the hell didn't they do more with that? And obviously Adam, just don't kill him in Mistral. Don't 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 fuck him. Adam gets his own thing, and Blake has her own thing. Adam is going to be for Blake. Um, she kind of gets Ironwood and Jack. Her father being a pseudo puppet of Salem slash ally to the bad guys. Ironwood knowing this but not having proof to take him out of power. Wiess is obviously helping him, you know, stop her dad, and that would obviously be great. Um, Salem wanting to kidnap her to bring Jack underfoot for good. Blah blah blah. For Wiess, for Weiss's part in that story, she should be the one who convinces her mom to sell it their dad and get him arrested, ruining his chance of being a politician, getting the SED under new management. A powerful moment. Um, give Weiss like, did Weiss ever really get a moment where she was just like, "Fuck you, dad"? Not really. She had moments. She did rebuild her family, but I definitely think Weiss should get a more powerful moment than just that. Um, Weiss should definitely be the more emotional, like, emotional drive of the show during that arc, and obviously between Ruby and Penny, that's also going to be a tearjerker. Um, but doing all this, I think, would really wrap up her arc with a very neat little bow. And after that, obviously, you have the big ass whale coming in, and Atlas is, it's approaching the fall of Atlas, and Weiss, when the fall of Atlas starts happening, she should be trying to fucking stop that at all costs. That's her home. That's where she grew up. She should have a lot of respect for her home. She should not want to see any part of it, even not the floating city, not the people on the ground. She should not want to see any part of it damaged or hurt or anything, because that is her home. And then Vacuar, she gets demoted to, she kind of get she she's no longer a main feature character. It's kind of just something you have to do. Um, but yeah, she won't take as much screen time, but she should still be important. Obviously, by Vacuo, three of the four have gotten their major character arcs. Uh, that kind of just leaves RWBY, and we obviously don't have any material for Vacuo right now, but uh, obviously by with what I've said, Mistral has a lot more stuff that's more Blake and Yang related, and obviously when their videos come out, you'll understand what I mean by Mistral. But Weiss is going to be the key point of what I think would be Astral in Atlas arc in this kind of rewritten universe. Uh, Weiss should be amazing, and that's kind of my idea. Uh, Next, I believe, is going to be Yang. Huh. I fucked around with that order. But well, yeah, next one is going to be Yang.